Hi everyone, I'm Heather Wen, a retired nurse practitioner and the founder and practitioner at Arizona Healing Alternatives. On this channel, you'll find several videos, what I like to call aha moments or aha minutes, where we'll be discussing issues that impact your health. So whether you decide to use Western medicine, alternative medicine, or even a mix of both, I'm passionate about you knowing what your healthcare options are. In today's aha moment, we're going to be discussing all of those little devices that we have that make our lives easier, such as our cell phones, our Fitbits, even our flat screen TVs, all sorts of different things that emit what are called EMFs or electromagnetic frequencies. Well, are they dangerous? Are they even a problem? Why am I even discussing this? Well, I'll tell you why in just a minute, so stay tuned. So what is all this stuff, or why am I even making a big deal about these EMFs and stuff? Well, let me tell you a little story, and it is kind of dating me, so here we go. But basically, when I was growing up, I remember my parents would say to me, 6 feet, you'd hear it down the hallway, 6 feet. What does that mean? Well, 6 feet means stay 6 feet back from the TV set. Why? Well, there's frequencies or radiation, things like that, that are emitted from various different devices. And even back then, because I'm 53 years old, even back then, we were concerned about what does that do to the body, if it even does anything. So that was kind of the advice that my parents had. Well, if you think about it, what I found interesting in my practice, because I primarily focus on what's called applied kinesiology or muscle testing, and that being the case, what I found really interesting was all these Fitbits and even our cell phones and stuff. I don't know what hit me, but I all of a sudden said, you know what, I'm going to test people's muscle reactions to this and see if there's anything to this. Because I always have them take off metal or other things because we know metal conducts energy, right? It conducts stuff. Even if we rub our feet on the carpet, you can get an electric shock. So everything conducts at a certain frequency, right? So what I decided to do was I would take these little Fitbits, take them off, and I'd bring them into the person's energy field and I'd test their muscle. If their muscle started to go weak, the closer it got to the body, that let me know something was going on. And it was funny. I just happened to be talking to somebody about this. And when I was talking to them, they said they were having a lot of heart palpitations. And for whatever reason, my eyes kept going to their little Fitbit. And I was telling them about, well, all of these things have these frequencies, or what are called EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies that are emitted. Well, we're all energy and chemicals anyway, so it's possible, especially when I'm getting this weak response, that it's disrupting something in our bodies. But does that mean anything? Well, I don't know. But basically, in my medicine, or in this energy medicine called Total Body Modification, what it means is something is not okay, that the body is going weak with this response. So what I did was I was discussing it with this individual, and then they decided they would just stop wearing their Fitbit. Well, that's fantastic. I didn't think it was going to do anything because they were talking about the fact that they were having heart palpitations. So, like I said, they just decided they were going to stop wearing it. I didn't have to do any corrections or anything. They basically stopped wearing it. And when they stopped wearing it, they told me their palpitations went away. Well, it was at that point that I decided that I was going to start investigating this. So I just went and I Googled EMF protectors. Well, there's tons of stuff, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not an expert at EMF protectors. I don't know which ones are better than anything else. All I do is I would tell my patients just to go buy them. There's stickers, there's all sorts of different things. There's even stuff like Himalayan salt lamps. Well, they change the ionization of the air and particles and things like that that you can look up. And basically that can help. There's different crystals that can help with that, like black tourmaline. There's all sorts of different things. And I'll show you a few examples because all I did was I went on Amazon and I Googled it. And then I started testing things. So as people would bring their stuff in, I would test to see with their phones and their Fitbits and things like that, whether the muscle became stronger the closer it got to them. And that's all I was doing to try to test it. Do I know with medical certainty whether that's going to help or do anything? No, I really don't. But what's interesting about it is, let's even look at, do we even need to do any of that stuff, right? Do we even need to go buy these protectors, whether they're stickers or crystals or whatever we want to do? And in fact, even this This is actually one too. There's a company up in northern Arizona that this has magnets in it. I can't flip it because it basically has magnets in it, but that's supposed to be a protector as well. So why do we even need to do anything? What's the point? Why should we do something to protect ourselves? Well, what I found interesting was I found a couple of articles, and I'm going to put those up on the screen for you right now. One was from the World Health Organization, and so I'm going to let you look at that for a couple minutes so you can read it. And what I did was I actually underlined, because when I read material, I'm very, very picky about things like what exactly is being said. So I sort of underline things on this, and I'll give you a second to read that one. If you notice, it says that the experiments happened with healthy volunteers, which is great, but many people aren't that healthy. That's the first thing. The second thing that I noticed is it said, based on the recent in-depth review of scientific literature, the World Health Organization concluded that current evidence does not confirm the existence of any health consequences from exposure to low-level magnetic fields. Then there's the however. I always read the however, which is why I bolded it. However, some gaps in knowledge about biological effects exist and need further research. So what does that mean? Well, that means that while we think at these low-level frequencies, and some things emit a high-level frequency and some things emit a low-level frequency, whatever that is, we don't know yet. That it could have effects, but we're not exactly sure yet. So that's really important, sort of the jury's out on that one. Now, the next one I want to show you is I want to show you the National Institutes of Health. So here's the little slide on that. And they were talking about 2015 in the European Commission, so I'll give you a second to read that. And now if you look at it, I highlighted and underlined the parts where it says it found that overall epidemiological studies of extremely low frequency fields show an increased risk of childhood leukemia with estimated daily average exposures, and it gives the degree, although no mechanisms have been identified and there's no support from experimental studies that explains these findings. And then if you notice, it also says about brain tumors and things that the possibility of an association with this acoustic neuroma remains open. So what does that mean? Well, if we're highlighting that stuff, it means that, well, they found that in some cases it might have an association or it doesn't. Well, when I read things like that, the interesting thing to me is that you have to look at it and say, well, do I get an EMF protector, or is it protecting me from anything? Well, I don't really know, and I'm not an expert at them, but I'll tell you, when I start testing people and their muscle goes strong when they're using whatever it is, when they're using a sticker, they're using whatever, they're wearing something like this, when I test that, it makes me feel a little bit better in the medicine that I practice today. Do I know for sure that it's helping? No, any more than whether they know, is it causing a problem or isn't it? I'm just saying that anything that we can use that can help in any way to protect ourselves from things, I think is worth it, even if it's a little pricey, because some of those stickers are pricey, and I tell my patients to go buy those stickers and come in so that you don't have to put 6 on your phone, because it's not necessarily the size of the phone, as an example, or the computer that would mean, oh, you need 10 stickers versus 1. No, it has to do with how much it's emitting, no matter what the size of it is. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful for you today and gets you kind of thinking about those different things. If you're not feeling so well, maybe you stop wearing your stuff, see if there's any difference, or maybe you go and buy some EMF protectors, and if you put too many on it, that's fine. Or you seek out a practitioner such as myself that can go ahead and test those things for you. Either way, none of us can live without our electronic equipment. I can't either, but ultimately, we want to try to stay as safe and as healthy as possible. So I hope this has helped. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you like what you've seen today. Also, you'll see a little notification bell, and that will help you receive more videos of this type when they come out. You can also leave comments for me or any questions that you have about this video in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And once again, I thank you for listening, and stay safe around that electronic equipment.